It was a Tuesday, ordinary and unremarkable, the kind of day that blends into the background of a busy life. Or so I thought. I woke up feeling a little off, a little tired. My body felt heavier than usual, as if weighed down by an invisible force. I brushed it off. I had a busy day ahead. Meetings, deadlines, and errands filled my schedule. There was no time to dwell on a little fatigue. By lunchtime, the fatigue had intensified. I felt a strange ache in my bones. It was as if my body was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't listening. By evening, I was running a fever. My head throbbed in time with my pulse. The simple act of standing up felt like a monumental task. Fear started to creep in. This wasn't just a cold or flu. My husband noticed my distress, and his concern mirrored my own. Something felt very wrong. My husband rushed me to the ER. The urgency in his actions made the situation feel even more dire. The waiting room lights felt overly bright, the whispers too loud. Every second felt like an eternity as we waited for answers. As I sat there, I couldn't shake the feeling that my life was about to change forever. The unknown loomed large, casting a shadow over my thoughts. The unknown stretched out before me like a vast, dark ocean, and I was terrified. The waves of uncertainty crashed over me, leaving me breathless and afraid. The hospital was a blur of activity. The hallways were filled with the hurried steps of doctors and nurses, the air thick with the scent of antiseptic and the hum of fluorescent lights. It felt like a different world, one where time moved both too fast and too slow. Nurses in blue scrubs bustled around, their voices a calming murmur against the beeping of machines. They moved with purpose, their faces a mix of concentration and compassion. Each one seemed to be a part of a well-oiled machine, working tirelessly to keep everything running smoothly. I was poked and prodded, hooked up to monitors that blinked with my vital signs. The cold touch of the electrodes on my skin sent shivers down my spine. I watched the numbers and lines on the screen, trying to make sense of them, but they were just a jumble of data to me. The doctor, a kind woman with tired eyes, explained that my white blood cell count was unusually high. Her voice was gentle, but the words she spoke were heavy. I could see the weight of her job in the lines on her face, the exhaustion in her eyes. My heart skipped a beat. High white blood cell count. The phrase echoed in my mind, a harbinger of something ominous. I felt a cold sweat break out on my forehead as I tried to grasp the implications. What did that even mean? I clung to my husband's hand, his familiar presence a lifeline in the storm of my fear. His grip was firm, reassuring, but I could feel the tremor in his fingers. We were both scared, both trying to be strong for each other. The doctor spoke of tests, of possibilities, but all I heard was a deafening roar of uncertainty. Words like biopsy and treatment options floated around me, but they seemed distant, almost unreal. I nodded along, trying to keep up, but my mind was already spiraling. Leukemia. The word echoed in the silent corners of my mind. It was a word I had heard before, but never in relation to myself. It felt foreign, like it didn't belong to me, yet here it was, threatening to change everything. I pushed it away, refusing to give it power. But the seed of doubt had been planted, and it was already taking root. I knew I had to stay strong to fight, but the fear was there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the battle ahead. The next few days were a blur of anxious waiting. The world outside the hospital continued to spin, but I was trapped in a bubble of uncertainty. Every cough, every ache, every moment of fatigue felt like confirmation of my worst fears. Sleep was elusive, replaced by endless what-ifs that swirled in my mind. The unknown is a breeding ground for fear. It magnifies every worry, every doubt. I felt like I was living in a nightmare, unable to wake up. Would I be okay? The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered. The waiting was the hardest part. It chipped away at my hope, leaving me raw and vulnerable. During those long days and even longer nights, I found solace in unexpected places. The sterile walls of the hospital, which initially felt cold and unwelcoming, slowly transformed into a sanctuary of shared experiences and mutual understanding. It was in these moments of vulnerability that I discovered the true essence of human connection. I connected with other patients, strangers brought together by shared fear and hope. In the waiting rooms and corridors, we exchanged glances that spoke volumes, a silent acknowledgement of our shared journey. These connections, though brief, were profound and deeply meaningful. We traded stories, offered words of comfort, and drew strength from each other's resilience. Each story was a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome. We laughed together, cried together, and in those shared moments, we found a sense of belonging. I learned about Sarah, a young mother battling a rare autoimmune disease, her spirit unbroken despite the challenges she faced. Her courage was a beacon of hope, illuminating the path for others who were struggling. I listened to John, a retired teacher facing his own health crisis with quiet dignity. His wisdom and calm demeanor were a source of comfort, reminding us all that age and experience bring their own kind of strength. Their stories, filled with courage and vulnerability, reminded me that I wasn't alone. In their eyes, I saw reflections of my own fears and hopes, and in their words, I found the strength to keep going. There is a strange comfort in shared humanity, in knowing that others have walked this path before us. The hospital, once a place of isolation, became a community of warriors, each fighting their own battles, but united in their determination to survive. Their stories became beacons of hope, reminding me that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit has an incredible capacity for resilience. It is in these shared stories that we find the strength to face another day, to keep fighting, and to believe that brighter days are ahead. Section 5. The Power of Speaking Up. As I navigated the labyrinthine world of hospitals and tests, I learned the importance of self-advocacy. I learned to ask questions, to push for answers, to make sure my voice was heard. It wasn't always easy. There were times when I felt overwhelmed, uncertain, afraid to rock the boat. But I remembered Sarah, John, and the countless others who had taught me the power of speaking up. I learned to trust my instincts, to advocate for my own well-being. Your voice is your strongest tool. Don't be afraid to use it. Ask for clarity, demand answers, and never hesitate to seek a second opinion. Your health, your life, depends on it. Section 6. Navigating the emotional roller coaster. The waiting was agonizing, but the results, when they finally came, brought a wave of relief so profound it left me breathless. It wasn't leukemia. The diagnosis was still uncertain, but it wasn't the worst-case scenario. The relief was immediate, visceral. I cried tears of gratitude, of joy, of sheer exhaustion. But the emotional roller coaster didn't end there. In the aftermath of the scare, I found myself grappling with a mix of emotions. There was gratitude, of course, for my health, for my family, for the simple gift of each new day. But there was also fear, a lingering anxiety that whispered, "What if?" Section 7. Trusting your instincts. Navigating the world after a health scare is like walking on a tightrope. You're grateful to be alive, but you're also acutely aware of your own mortality. The experience left me changed, forever marked by the fragility of life. I learned to listen to my body, to pay attention to the whispers I had ignored for so long. I learned to prioritize my well-being, to set boundaries, to say no without guilt. Most importantly, I learned to trust my instincts. Your body is wise. It speaks to you in subtle ways, sending signals when something is wrong. Learn to listen to those signals. Trust your gut. You are your own best advocate. Section 8. Finding hope amidst uncertainty. Even though I didn't have all the answers, even though the future remained uncertain, I found hope. Hope in the resilience of the human spirit, hope in the power of love and connection, hope in the simple beauty of each new day. I discovered a strength I didn't know I possessed, a fierce determination to embrace life fully, to savor every moment. The experience taught me that even in the face of fear, even when the ground beneath us feels unsteady, there is always hope. Hope is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to keep going, to keep believing, even when the path ahead is unclear. Section 9. You are not alone. If you're reading this facing your own health battle, know this: you are not alone. Your fear is valid, your pain is real, and your story matters. Reach out, connect, share your story. There is strength in vulnerability, power in community. The journey may be long, and there will be days when the fear feels overwhelming. But you are stronger than you know. You are not defined by your diagnosis, your illness, or your fear. You are a warrior, a survivor, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. And even in the darkest of times, remember this: there is always hope. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep going. We are all in this together.
We share these stories so you can relate, offering community support to remind you that it's okay to feel vulnerable. You're not alone in this journey, and together we can help lighten the load. Let these stories be a source of strength and encouragement, showing that challenges are shared and solutions can be found as a community. You've got this, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more health stories just like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's completely free. And as a little thank you for subscribing, we'll give you a special voucher. This voucher will get you 20% off any of our laboratory products or money off every test or appointment for as long as you're subscribed to our channel. It's a great deal. And while you're at it, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out and lets us know what you'd like to see more of.